Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to take a look at the wonderful world of cassette, both analog and a little dabble into digital. Now when we talk about audio cassettes, this is the sort of thing that we think about, you know, pre-recorded cassette, mass produced, or maybe if you're lucky you might have used a chrome or metal tape. So what I've done, I've recorded a couple of cassettes on a good cassette player which I have mastered from DAT, and we're going to start by looking at having a little listen to them. I'm not going to do a lot of them, but we're going to start off with what has been advertised and sold on the internet as a high-end cassette player. This is a Denon DN704R. It has got a variable speed on it, but I'm actually not that impressed with it. I've had a little listen, just not, you know, there is definitely two cassette decks in there. It's nicely separated and there is some nice circuitry in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause you and I'm going to connect you to the audio output on the cassette player and we'll have a little listen and then I'll come back to you. Now what I take from that is that cassette player's got a lot of background hiss on it and generally bordering on muffled. It is a pretty cheap pre-recorded dodgy tape, so I'm going to try the same cassette deck using a little bit better branded tape, which is a chrome dioxide tape, so it should give you a little bit better quality. Now, let's face it, when it comes to audio cassettes, that's pretty much what most of us have experienced. I would class this as being a pretty much entry-level, run-of-the-mill cassette deck. Now, you have a little look at that. We've got a separate power supply. You know, it is a reasonable one because it's got a separate power supply. We've got some pre-amplification, some equalisation, some amplification. This is also capable of high-speed dubbing between the two, which, yeah, I've never thought it's a particularly good thing because it messes up with the frequency response of the cassette players. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap this for a much higher model now, which has got HX Pro on it and properly supports metal tapes. So when we look at this one, there is a little bit more in here. You know, definitely a lot more filtering going on, and it's got two audio outs, one for the left deck, one for the right. Now, both sides of this actually record. Both are auto reverse. The right hand deck is HX Pro, the left hand deck is not. So I'm going to take those same tapes and I'm going to play them to you on the HX Pro deck first of all, then I'm going to swap the same tape over to the standard deck. The HX Pro deck is definitely a lot clearer, and the background noise and the deck noise is nowhere near as bad as it is on the standard deck. Now, that is pretty much it for audio cassette. You can filter some of the hiss out by using noise reduction. I've deliberately not turned any noise reduction on this because I wanted it to show you as it was. Now there's one little more thing that tape has got hidden away for us, and that is this DAT. This is probably one of 2 audio cassette formats that I would ever consider using to store anything of any value on. The other one being the Philips digital audio cassette. So I have here a DAT machine, and we'll have a little listen to that. So what we've got here is a Sony PCM 278. This is a slightly modified version. It's got no manual input or output levels on it. The reason for that is this one is ex-BBC and has been modified to sit at, I think it is 80 decibels, which is peak program 5, which is what the BBC run all their internal recording playing on. Really nice mechanism here. You offer the cassette in and it turns the cassette around, wraps it down, and you can see it just there. So we'll have a little listen to this. This again is going to be the sound that we've heard before. It's exactly the same recording. So here we go. There we go, that is a DAT machine which has such a satisfying click when you start it and stop it. It is such a difference. I mean, the mechanism on this is beautiful when you eject it. The way it offers the cassette there. And when the cassette's actually being played, it's up like this. But when you put it in, you're putting it in like that. Loading, laces up like a video machine, and then off it goes with a spinning head. The only thing that's missing off here is they've took the cleaning function off, but in the years that I've had this machine I've never needed to clean it. But this is a BBC modified one. There is some changes have been made to it. By our British Broadcasting Corporation. As you can see, a little board here. There's a cable here that runs down to a remote socket. So they made a few changes to make it work with, I believe it was changed to work with SADI. But there we go. That's it for tapes. This, going down the route of DAT, this is my personal DAT machine, and it's not something I'd consider parting with because it is such a brilliant machine and I've got quite an archive of stuff recorded on DAT, so for me it's worth keeping hold of. Obviously those audio cassette machines I forgot how bad audio sound, how bad audio cassettes sound. It's been many years since I've used them. The other cassette I did have a listen to was this one, which is a Woolworths Chrome tape, which was recorded many years ago. It's got a bit of wear on it, as you can see. It's full of Guns N' Roses. I wondered what was on it, but again, a lot of background noise, a lot of hiss. I suppose we filtered it then. These days we're used to a lot more clarity. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I hope that it's given you a little bit of a blast from the past. If you enjoyed watching it, go and have a look at a few of my other videos, and if you like what you're seeing on the channel, hit the subscribe button. Thank you.